welcome to Audrey's reading area. I'm just so pumped. I'm just so excited to be here again, as I am every day live at 5. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 5 p.m.
Alexa, what time is Audrey's reading area?
Audrey reads in her area at 5 o'clock p.m.
She knows. All right, you guys. Thanks again for being here. I'm going to read another fun and exciting book to you guys on this Educational Tuesday. So, of course, you know it's going to have a little bit of stuff for you to learn in there. Yes, but it's still fun and exciting. Now, first, I'm going to ask you to click like. Then I'm going to ask you to click share. Then I'm going to ask you when, at the end of this video, roll on over to YouTube. Go to Audrey's reading area and smash that subscription button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Punch that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a video to YouTube. Yeah. Yes. I'm just so pumped, so having fun with you guys. The fun and exciting book. Yes. Do you see my background? You see my background props? Tea. These are some of my favorite teas. Jam and lemon ginger, lavender chamomile, and mint medley. Some of my favorite teas, which I will lead you to the book that I'm going to read. Bam! Yes. Joining the Boston Tea Party. Joining the Boston Tea Party. Yes, I told you it was going to be a fun and educational book, but also a learning experience. Oh, yeah. This book is written by Diane Stanley and is illustrated by Holly Berry. Not Halle Berry, Holly, Holly, Holly Berry. And let me show you the picture of this book. Yes. Joining the Boston Tea Party. Fun and exciting, isn't it? It says, jump back in time with the time-traveling twins. The time-traveling twins. You guys ready for this experience? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And let me show you 13 colonies. This is that sideways. And pull it up. 13 colonies. I'll go up slowly. You can pause at any time if you want to see anything on here. You can pause at any time. The Atlantic Ocean. All right. Look at that. Interesting already, isn't it? Joining the Boston Tea Party. These are the first pictures in the book. Some nice illustrations too, right? So it was summer and time to visit Grandma. We were so excited. Our parents think we like to go there because we take walks in the woods and make homemade ice cream and pick berries and watch the stars. We do all those things, of course, but there's something else we do with Grandma. Something pretty amazing. We travel back in time. It's a thing she does with her magic hat, but you'll see. Colorful illustrations, beautiful. We could hardly wait to have another adventure. First, we had to pick one of our ancestors to visit and change our clothes. Grandma went to her trunk and picked out a black hat and 2 frilly caps, knee breeches and stockings, petticoats, and a couple of long dresses. It sure took time to get dressed in them back in those olden days. When we were ready, Grandma put on her traveling hat. We all held hands and closed our eyes. Soon, that strange dizzy feeling came over us, and all of a sudden, we felt very cold. That's what happens, I guess, when you travel through time, right? We opened our eyes, and there we were, standing on a Boston street. No cars, no fast food, and let's just say you could tell that the horses had been there. Just then a snowball flew past our heads. It hit the brick wall of a butcher shop, barely missing a soldier in a red coat. The soldier was really mad. The boy who threw the snowball dashed around the corner. Grandma told us to hurry up and follow him. She said it was Ben Reed, and if we ran fast enough, we could catch up with him.
Your cousin is attempting to reach you.
We could catch up with him. We did, and he seemed glad to meet some long-lost relatives. He even invited us to stay at his family's house. How fun and interesting was that? Look at that. And it says, I'm going to read a little bit of what they're saying in the background. It says, I hope your mother won't mind us dropping in like this. Hey, Ben, why is everybody so angry around here? That's what he's saying. He's like, because the English aren't treating us right. That's why. They think all we're good for is to make them rich. We have to buy their stuff, like clothes, at a high price, and they won't let us save money by making it ourselves. And then there's the taxes. When the people of Boston complained about them, the king sent those soldiers over here as if we were some conquered enemy. She was like, who is this king anyway? And he says, King George III. Dummy, don't you remember your history? He called his sister a dummy. Ben's mother invited us in. A lot of her friends were there, chatting and drinking out of pretty china cups. She poured us each something from her silver teapot. Only it wasn't tea. It was hot chocolate. She said her club was called the Daughters of Liberty, and they wouldn't drink any more tea until England stopped making them pay taxes on it. That's right. She said, but doesn't everybody have to pay taxes? Wow. She said, sure. Our elected officials collect taxes right here in Massachusetts. The money is used to pave the streets and pay the police, things that make our lives better. So I'm going to skip what all these women say and go to the next page. It says, after the ladies left, Mrs. Reed asked Ben to show us to our rooms. She thought we might want to rest a while before supper. If you don't count the fact that there wasn't any heat and the rooms were dark and the beds were hard and lumpy, everything was great. That night at supper, we met the rest of the family. Ben's father is a lawyer and his brother James is a student at Harvard College, which even back in 1773 was 137 years old. They talked a lot and dinner was fun, but the conversation was better than the food. Said, let me tell you about their conversations here at the table. One person is like, did someone give me a tablecloth by mistake? And he's saying, that's a napkin, silly. Tie it around your neck like this. They had to tie their napkins around their neck. Yeah. Says, oh, mother, Indian pudding, my favorite. Try some, dear. It's made from cornmeal, molasses, eggs, milk, and spices. They bake it for about 18 hours in a brick oven. You know, they still do their cooking over a fire in the kitchen hearth. Stoves are still only for warmth. 18 hours, huh? I guess that would account for the texture. I think I'll pass. Anything you want to toss my way? That's what the dog is saying. Wow. Then we have, they mostly talked about politics. Mr. Reed told us that for the last 6 years, the British Parliament had been trying to raise money by taxing the American colonists, or colonies. But the colonists had pitched a fit over it. They stopped going to stores that sold English goods. They wrote complaining letters and held lots of meetings. There were even riots. Finally, Parliament gave up on the taxes, except the one on tea. They kept that one just to make the point that England had the right to tax the colonies. Oh boy. The next morning we woke up early. It's hard to sleep with the clatter of cartwheels on cobblestones right outside your window. We got dressed really fast because it was cold. After breakfast, Ben asked if we would help him put some notices up around town. We said we'd be glad to. Everybody seemed interested in our notices. Lots of people said they were coming to the meeting. So I'm going to read you the notice. It says, "Friends, brethren, countrymen, the worst of plagues, the detested tea shipped for this port by the East India Company, is now arrived in this harbor. The hour of destruction or manly opposition of the machinations of tyranny stare you in the face. Every friend to his country himself," and can't see what's behind his head. So I guess that part is unimportant right now. But yeah. Ben said that Sam Adams had a big surprise planned, but he wouldn't tell us what it was. We'd find out later, he said. We could even be a part of it if we wanted. Over here, he's saying, "A big surprise? Cool." And he's like, "I don't like the sound of that." Let's see what's happening. Ben was right. Let me put my tea back. Ben was right. The night of December 16, 2 days before my birthday. The night of December 16 really was something. Thousands of people had gathered at a church called the Old South Meeting House. They were riled up, too. We couldn't get close enough to hear all the speeches, but we did hear one man ask the governor, Thomas Hutchinson was the governor, to send the tea back to England, but he wouldn't do it. Uh-oh. She says, "Holy moly, I never saw so many people." She says, "Yes, it's quite a crowd. I'd say about a third of the population of Boston is here tonight." Then Sam Adams ended the meeting with one short sentence. Ben said it was a signal. Uh-oh. Let's see. We ran back to Ben's house where he told us what was about to happen. Some patriots were going to disguise themselves as Mohawk Indians and board the 3 ships in the harbor. Then they were going to throw all the tea overboard. We wanted to go too, so he helped us with our disguises. He told us to blacken our faces with soot from the fireplace and gave us feathers for our hair. It was a very bad costume. Says Liz, "You'll need to change into boys' clothes so you can use some of mine." Lenny, take off your neckcloth. Okay. Very bad costumes. Yeah, not so good. When we got to the waterfront, a group of Mohawks were already there. They looked as silly as we did, but we didn't recognize any of them either, so I guess the disguises worked. One of the men divided us into 3 groups and picked a leader for each one. We were assigned to the ship Dartmouth. By the time we boarded, a crowd had gathered at the wharf to cheer us on. The tea chests were heavy. To get them up out of the hold, We used the ship's hoisting tackle and ropes. As the chests came up, we hacked them open with axes and dumped the tea over the side. Soon the whole ship smelled spicy and sweet. After a couple of hours, our job was finished. The captain got his keys back, and we even swept the tea and wood splinters off the deck. Then we marched off the ship in a double line, our axes over our shoulders, while someone played a tune on a fife. Everybody was in a jolly mood, and the crowd treated us like heroes. They even made up a song about us. Interesting. We thought Grandma would be furious when she found out where we'd been, but she wasn't. She said she read her history and knew that only one man, a carpenter named John Crane, was hurt at the Boston Tea Party. He was knocked in the head by a winch, but he soon recovered and walked home. Grandma said she thought we'd had enough excitement for one visit. Maybe it was time to head home. We were sorry to leave Ben. We liked him a lot, but we were starting to get a little homesick. So Grandma got out her traveling hat. When we were finally alone, we all held hands and closed our eyes and waited. And suddenly, we were at Grandma's house on a perfect summer day. Oh yeah. Grandma reminded us that the next day was the 4th of July. She said her garden club had built a float for the parade and we can ride on it. Hooray for liberty. This is great, but the real thing was a lot more fun. Happy birthday, America. I wonder where we'll go next time. Author's note. I'm going to read you the author's note. That was the end of the story, you guys. Thanks for being here listening to me read fun and exciting and educational books to you, but this is the pictures. These are the pictures on the next page. Interesting, right? And I'm going to read you the author's note. The author's note. Well, let me show you this page too. So the author's note reads, and see it says the Boston Tea Party. December 16, 1773. 2 days before my birthday, December 18th. Not the same year though. Was not born in 1773. The author's note reads, the Sons of Liberty threw 348 chests full of tea into Boston Harbor that night. When King George heard about it, he was furious. That means mad. He was mad. He was furious. The die is cast, he wrote. The colonies must either submit or triumph. As punishment, the British closed the port of Boston and sent 4 regiments from the British Army to keep peace in Massachusetts. Not only did this cause outrage in Boston, but it angered the people in all other colonies. United in their resentment of the British, they began to think of themselves not just as Virginians or New Yorkers, but as Americans. At first, they simply wanted to persuade the English to treat them with fairness, but gradually a new and shocking idea took hold: independence from England. The rumbling of revolution had begun. So on April 19, 1775, in the little Massachusetts towns of Lexington and Concord, the British Army came face to face with the American Minutemen. This ragtag collection of farmers and tradesmen who provided their own weapons wore no uniforms and could be ready to fight at a minute's notice, managed to drive the professional British soldiers in their snappy red coats all the way back to Boston. Thus began the American Revolutionary War. It was to last for 8 years. 8 years. On July 4th of 1776, the colonies declared their independence from England. 7 years later, in 1783, the war officially ended. The 13 colonies had become the United States of America. Yes. The end. The end. Wow. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to me read that book. I hope you guys learned a little something, something. And don't forget to hit like and hit share. And don't forget, go on over to YouTube, Audrey's Reading Area, and smash that subscribe button. That's right, smash it for me. Don't forget to punch the that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload, every time I upload videos to Audrey's Reading Area. Thank you for being here. Shout out to my mom, whose name is Bev. She's always here. Shout out. And shout out to everybody. Ellie, my cousin Ellie, and my good friend Victoria Henderson. Thank you so much for sharing my videos every day. Every day they share my videos with everyone. So more people have subscribed to Audrey's Reading Area. And I thank you guys so much. Don't forget, if you want to cash app, make a cash donation and help me out, you can cash app me to Audrey's, with an S but no apostrophe, Audrey's Reading Area at 1218 at gmail.com. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. And I will see you again tomorrow, live at 5. That's Live. Live at 5 tomorrow. And I will see you soon.